Welcome to Balls and Brews. Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Cheers. Pod 79, gentlemen.
Also, this cheers
Welcome back.
This cheers
Trev.
goes out
Thank
to the people in New Orleans who part of that horrific fucking episode right before the Sugar Bowl. That's insane.
Yeah. So, to that point, that is terrible. Glad that nothing further happened after that event and the Sugar Bowl went off without a hitch. But definitely, to the families that were affected, that's just horrendous.
I think counting
straight
into
American tragedy.
It counted into being 15 and 40, right? Something like that.
Too much. Way, way, way too much.
Okay, so what do you guys think of this? I'm not really sure.
Okay. It's an Imperial Stout, so it's called The Brewery, but it's spelled Bruery. And they're from, you ready for this? Okay, we read this off pod several times. Placentia, California, okay? It drinks at 9.2. It's an Imperial Stout with strawberries and cocoa nibs. And if you smell it, it smells of strawberry. And then the cocoa starts off up front, and I get a little bit of strawberry on the back. I really do. It's like a strawberry milkshake-esque, which I'm all for.
I'm not too crazy about it. I would like it if it was a lactose beer, probably a little bit more.
I agree.
I think that's what it's missing.
Yeah, there's something. I feel
Or
like
maybe
there's something missing.
more chocolate. It's already a dessert beer, but it's a little. I don't know. It feels like it's missing something.
Me too. I totally agree.
I would say,
I can't find it, but it feels like there's something missing.
it has a lack of body. It's
call.
not creamy.
Yeah,
like
that's why lactose would be
right.
Yeah.
But at the Imperial at 9.2, right? Okay, we had a 14.2 with that one from Revision that still had that full body to it, right?
Yep.
So it's not to say that it can't be done, but this one drinks a little bit closer to a black lager as far as mouthfeel, not taste, but mouthfeel, right?
Yeah,
Right.
for sure. Definitely more like a lager. That's a great point.
So you'll notice, we only have a partial portion in our glass, and it's not because we are babying this beer. It's just because we only have the one between us.
Yeah, and honestly, though, sometimes when you're trying deeper beers or experimental beers, one like this is kind of perfect. Because would you want to drink a whole one?
No.
That would be, yeah.
And I mean, if you open it and crack it, I'm not gonna not drink it, though, right?
It's just gonna take me all fucking.
A good
afternoon.
one. Till the third segment.
It's flight portion,
A little bit over, but yes, yeah, absolutely. We've talked about it. We've gushed about flights before on this pod. I mean, when you like variety, when you like multiple sections of beer, especially when you're a good brewery, it's the way to go.
Yes.
Well, you guys had anything new as of late? I know, Chuck, we had a couple new ones at the house for a great game.
Yeah,
of football.
dude. I brought over one that we're going to be sampling later, actually, which is good. But the stout that I brought over was from 405 North. It was called "Stay Out of the the Cellar." Yeah, stay out of the cellar stout. It was based off of R.L. Stein, Goosebumps. Mm-hmm. And it was Imperial Stout. It was peanut butter. It was chocolate and peanut butter, basically, straightforward.
A lot of peanut
Super
butter.
sweet. I'm very glad we did basically exactly this. There's three of us. We got about 5 ounces each, and it was the right amount. Yeah, because it was really good. It was super sweet. No, actually not super, just sweet. Pastry stout. It was a pastry stout. 9.0.
A lot of sugar.
Yeah, so I mean, really good and peanut buttery, dude. Yeah, it was
Have a cool book-looking can too.
It was the can with the pint coming out of the cellar, the green hand.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
You would know exactly if you grew up with Goosebumps. You would all of those. All of the book covers were similar but different, right? It's all the same art style. Yeah. So it was. I've seen those. They normally 405 North normally brews sours and slushy sours. You ever seen these?
They're slushy. So what makes it a slushy sour?
It's thicker. It's super thick, which is weird because
like a hazy kind of beer.
No, but it's just the body is I don't know how they get it that way. I don't know what they introduced to make it, but it's more it's not ice, I don't think, but it's that consistency of think of an icy or a slushy or something. It's
the name
thick.
Rings true.
Yes, it's not just the flavor, but it's the whole body of the beer, and it throws me off. I've tried 4 and they're all very fruit forward. Every single one I've had has been very fruit forward, but it just tastes like it's weird. It's like a smoothie. It is literally like, it's kind of weird.
Do you drink it like a smoothie? Is it a little colder? Maybe a little ice in it?
I don't know. It's weird. You could pour it, and I don't know. I just treated it like a traditional sour. I tried to let it warm up, but it still didn't break up that like slushiness.
Well, yeah, that might be going against the grain as far as what it's supposed to be.
I guess so. Yeah, good flavor, but just weird. Not what you're expecting out of a beer, or I guess an alcoholic beverage that isn't like jungle juice.
Jungle juice.
Something that y'all friends whipped up the night before. Oof. Ah, we all been there.
Well, shall we get into it?
Well, you tried any new ones, Trev? I have not.
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
tried the one with
Yeah,
Chucky.
I've been good, guys. I have not been just drinking at home. So no, yeah. Other than when I was with you guys, I've not been drinking. So thumbs up for that.
Yeah, I've been saving pretty much the beers for the pods.
Hell yeah, we got some good ones coming up for sure.
I have whipped up some cocktails at home, but
There
nothing
you go.
like out of the ordinary. Tis the season, so a couple brandy nogs and maybe a mule or old fashioned. Those are my go-tos.
Yes, dude, you are a very good purveyor of old fashions. That is true.
Maybe a margarita.
Maybe a margarita.
I just like margs because they're super simple.
Yeah.
Well, all
If
those
you
drinks
have a
are
good
pretty
mix, you
simple.
just smack a fucking tequila in there. Hopefully a little salted rim. I prefer that, but
always on the rocks.
Oh, 1,000%. Once again, it's that blended shit. It goes back to that slushy conversation I was just having. That like texture is not. I'm not a huge fan of when it comes to beverages.
So we had 4 games. So we had a great game, a good game, an okay game, and we had a shitty game.
4 games of what, Zach?
College football playoff, something we've never seen before. It
The
was
quarterfinals.
quarterfinals. So let's start with
I'm
the
getting more
shitty game.
strawberry that it's sitting a little bit now.
The one that was supposed to be the good game
Was a
the
bag
shitty
of
game.
boo-boo.
Yeah.
What was the score of that game, T-Mun?
41-21, and it really was worse than that.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
It was-
window dressing
It was
from Oregon.
it was what 34
nil.
at one point, and then it was 34-8 going into halftime or
Correct.
something.
Yes, that's exactly
Just-
what it was.
Big disappointment for being a conference game. This was the game that I thought was going to be possibly the best, and it ended up being the worst.
Easily the worst game. Ohio State came out, went right down the field, hit a big play to that true freshman kid who's going to be legit. Jeremiah Smith,
yep.
Tutty. Oregon goes 3 and out. Ohio State goes down the field. I think they kicked a field goal. Maybe they went for another touchdown. 3 and out by Oregon again. And then
No,
it
they
just
were up
kinda-
14-0.
was it
Yeah,
so
it was
then-
14-0.
And then,
it just
and
avalanched.
It never went. It never got any juice. I thought Oregon looked very unprepared for this game offensively.
I mean, a lot of the teams
And
in the
defensively.
playoff have had slow starts, but they the offensive play calling was they weren't trying to stretch the ball. It didn't feel like
it was terrible.
Screen left, screen right.
Oh, dude,
run, okay,
dive,
punt.
dive. Yeah, it was the play calling was stale to say the least. Like, especially with how much speed and how much trickery you should have in an offense like that. Like, it was either that or Ohio State was just fucking ready. They were just like, we know everything this team is about to try to pull off, and we are ready for it. Because I know Ryan Day hasn't beaten Michigan much, but he's a hell of a head coach, man. And that team is on a fucking warpath right now, is what it looks like, dude.
Yeah, they beat the piss out of Tennessee.
They're
beat the piss out of
taking no
Oregon.
prisoners right now in this playoff, and this once again, this matchup with Texas should give dividends to, like, this should be a good matchup, once again. But it was the fact that this was the lackluster game out of the 4 is crazy.
Yeah, and I don't know. Ohio State looked on their toes defensively and offensively for Oregon. It just wasn't offensive. How do you let Jeremiah Smith get that open that many times down the field?
They had 2 tuds.
Yeah, and 2 of them, and both of them were like wide open touchdowns.
One was a really good adjustment by him to come, like he was like going for the corner of the end zone, saw that it was like undershot, and he came back to it. Like to be able to know how to do that as a true freshman is insane. Like, he's already getting comps to Andre Johnson and Julio Jones and like these big bodied receivers that can do it all. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude.
Did you see anything more from Howard that stock up or?
I don't know. I still don't think he's. I still think he's just a backup.
He's just part of the system.
He's more of and I think he's more of a runner than a thrower. I mean, he can throw okay, but he's not. I didn't see much of movement for me. He's still, fourth, fifth, lower end of draft.
Well, yeah.
Maybe free. I don't know. He doesn't really tickle my fancy at all at quarterback.
I mean, Gabriel kind of had a.
And Gabriel really looked real bad. He kind of fell off my tickle, if that's the way you want to put it.
That's the way you're putting it.
With the way that performance went, the height was a huge difference. How many balls were batted down at the line? You saw kind of his deficiencies as a smaller-bodied quarterback in that game, and he's not elite with his feet like a Lamar or Kyler.
He just gave me this Johnny check down feeling.
Was that the offense, or is he just not looking?
I don't know.
Either way, it's not a good feeling.
True.
I think that you got to feel the flow of the game and realize, hey, these little swing passes aren't working. Let's run some fakes to those and then huck that fucking rock. We're down 34-0, coach. What are we doing running bubble screens and dives?
Yeah.
Dan Lanning, it's the first time that we would probably publicly come out here and say that was just a shit game plan. Whatever you guys thought you had, you did not. And Ohio State, they look like the clear team to beat right now in what's left in this bracket.
For sure,
they do. The OK game would have been not the Friday night because it would have been Tuesday night. It would have been the Boise State Penn State game. Boise State shot themselves in the foot, in my opinion, the whole game. I know Penn State won. Boise State's penalties, 2 fumbles, just kind of didn't really let themselves get going at some points in time. And when they would get going, you'd have a huge penalty holding, something like that, and it would knock you back. Penn State, once Nickel Singleton took that ball 60 yards of the house, that kind of broke that game open. It was over there.
Nice group of running backs there.
Yeah, two running backs should be drafted in the NFL.
Only team with 2 running backs over 800 yards each. That's nice.
Drew Allard probably will be pushing for a number 1 pick next year. The way he throws the football,
so smart to come back.
So he said he was returning.
Yes, best example of a kid who needs that year.
Yeah, he was
perfect,
chucking the ball all around the field.
Right, because if you have the measurables, you're already getting looked at, right? 6'4", got a great arm, good legs, right? He could, in theory, can be considered a dual threat. So he's already got the measurables and the physical talent. What can you put on the field to demonstrate that?
Yeah, and then start getting your foot be consistent. It's consistency with him is, where's your footwork, where's your lower half. You got some of those balls we saw him throw this week, or during that game, were great NFL
I think there's
throws.
2. Exactly. 2 NFL throws that I want you to prove to me are your rollout throws, right, when you're on the run, and then one's outside the numbers. How do you play your boundaries? Because in college, the middle of the field's kind of the Wild West. Especially, it is unless you're playing elite defenses, which there are some. Obviously, Notre Dame's defense did exactly that to beat Georgia.
Defenses.
So, points to Mr. Downey over there for that one.
And then there was also Carter. They're probably the best. Is he the top end, do you think?
He got hurt in that game, but
what
he
kind
is
of hurt?
The top end.
I
think it's questionable for next
bummer.
week or next game.
So he's not practicing.
He's easily probably. So you got to figure, Trev. You got the two quarterbacks,
right?
Then you got him.
You got Travis
Hunter. And then you got Mason Graham, and then you got the receiver from Arizona, or your elites with the cornerback from probably Michigan who kind of got hurt all year. Those are your probably 7 elites. So Carter's definitely going in the top 7. If he falls out of the top 7, I'd be massively surprised.
I mean, it's a little early, but you've told me you've been doing some mock drafts. Do you have a top 10 as far as prospects?
Not quite. I gotta look at it a little bit more, and not off the top of my head. I gave you 7. The other 3 would have to be.
You have to take a closer look for sure.
Scataboo might make his, cause
he's not going to be that high, but I would love to have him.
I guess
I'm just saying,
number 8 could be the offensive tackle for LSU or the offensive tackle for Texas.
I think the underwear Olympics are going to have a lot. They always do.
Genty. So
he's going to be the number 1 rated RB. Yeah.
There's your top 10 right there, Trev. But yeah, so I thought that was a good game. I'm glad I wish Boise State wouldn't have shot themselves in the foot.
There was a lot of self-inflicted wounds.
First
100
three quarters-
yards of penalties.
First three
never
quarters
good.
was a good game. Fourth quarter, Penn State kind of took over. Like
It was just the battle of attrition where Penn State is a blue blood for a reason. Franklin hasn't necessarily gotten over the Ohio State and Michigan hump, but that's a fucking hard hump to get over. You know, he coaches a very good defense. That offense has never. When's the last time Penn State's off? It was Saquon, I guess, would be the last time you were like, but that's still a running back that you just turn around and hand the ball off to. Like,
Right.
they haven't had a quarterback that, lit up the fucking wow meter in forever.
Yes.
right, and then the good game, really good game. Notre Dame takes down Georgia. Notre Dame's defense looked elite, even
Yeah.
losing their
Yeah.
defensive tackle the week before. They lost another defensive tackle in this game, but Notre Dame did what they needed to do. Riley Leonard looked elite running the ball and throwing the ball.
Not
running
throwing the
not
ball.
throwing
I was
the
gonna
ball.
say
I would
88
say
Running the ball, he
yards.
looked elite. And then their defense is a force to be reckoned
So is that a kid who would benefit from coming back? Because he can too.
I don't know if he can, because he was like 3 years at Duke. I think he's one and done in Notre Dame.
He's a senior, not redshirted, but I don't think he can
he'd come
redshirt.
back. Yeah.
He's not. He doesn't want to qualify. He only had like 90 yards passing. They didn't really need to
Yeah.
rely on him. I would have liked to see more from him, but they did what they had to do to beat Georgia.
They run the ball, and he runs the ball effective. That's why I text you guys like after like the first quarter,
Yeah,
or right at the first half, like they need to start running him more because he was the one that was bringing the offense. Him and that little number 9 kid.
Leonard also led the team in rushing. He had
fast.
80 yards rushing on
Yeah.
14 attempts.
That
Or carries.
Fajon, or whatever the receiver that he was throwing to, that kid's quick for them. But yeah, Notre Dame looked good. Georgia looked like Georgia. No offensive consistency. Defensively, you were right there, and then would have a big bad break.
They
and
took
then,
a big old poop, though. Like, they kind of pooped that game. They just didn't really, at no point outside of maybe like the first 7 minutes where you're like, okay, Georgia could be really competitive in said game. And then it just kind of hit the skids. So, yeah, I mean, tip of the cap to you. You called that from a mile away. That secondary quarterback, unfortunately, just couldn't do enough to translate into enough offense. Clearly, 10 points is not going to win you a playoff game.
I mean, again, Notre Dame had special teams helping them. The defense was great.
3 phases of all,
And
that's what matters.
The running quarterback was kind of the weakness of their defense for most of the season. That seemed to be an issue for that team.
Marcus Freeman is one hell of a coach.
Yes.
One hell of a coach.
Agreed.
Ready
Before
for
we
this?
get into the epic game, we're going to pour these brewskis real quick.
Looks like Zach's got to finish his brewski real quick. All right.
Welcome back. After that short intermission, we had to pour these beautiful brewskis up. So we'll take a chug. Charlie will tell us what we're drinking. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Yeah, that's a home run there, brother.
Redhead Retention by Long Beach Beers.
I'll be retentioning this beer.
No, you won't. It's going to run right through you. You got
I'd add it to my reds of my likes, though, because this is fucking... This is
5.5.
delicious. It's
So-
perfect.
Yeah, it's basically exactly what you kind of want your red to be. If you look at the pour, it's just a beautiful like copper, like
That's a
holds the head just nice. Like,
That's a really good beer.
okay, well,
I'm going to be through it in no time.
Uh-oh.
That's an all-day drinker right there for me, boys.
5.5. Yeah, and so Long Beach Beers is obviously out of.
Long Beach, California.
Yeah,
LBC.
Yeah. No,
One
no,
of the
no,
beers from the trip.
no real point in looking at that one. The can is cool as shit. Check
Yeah,
it
check
out.
out the can. It is really cool.
They'll be up on X and Instagram.
You got a rat as your Red Dead character, pretty much.
Basically, the writing looks like Red Dead Redemption.
No, not that is for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
But it'll be right before we took break to go to this, we talked about the epic game. Boys and girls, it was fucking epic.
Oh yeah, dude.
Texas,
Arizona State.
Arizona
yeah.
State. Arizona State outplayed them. in almost every facet of the game.
TOP was absurd. The fact that they didn't win that game after having the ball for like 3/4 of the time offensively.
Especially in the second half, dude.
Yeah, they
whole
dominated
quarter.
the second half.
The kid,
Slow start though.
So before the week started, you had the quarterback from Arizona State. He came out and said, Sam Levitt came out and said basically he was better than Ewers. Then you had Scadaboo came out and said that nobody can stop him.
Oh,
Well,
he was saying that all
both
season.
were right. Dude, Levitt is better than Quinn Ewers. And I told Charlie during the game, and I wanted you to know, I don't know if you saw this, with Ewers' footwork, he doesn't ever look like he just puts that back foot in the ground and just drives the ball. It's like he's playing like shortstop or second base and he's turning two. His feet always seem to be moving, and it doesn't ever seem like he's just there and then it's ready to fire. It seems, I don't know, man. I've tried to watch him a lot and I'm not impressed, and he's another one that should stay. But not super impressed with Ewers at all. And I thought if when Levitt had time, dude, he looked really good. And his scrambling ability, give that kid a fucking award. He was running all over. He was running for his life fucking most of the game, dude. That was the one part of Texas that played good, was the defensive line.
I'm glad you brought that up too, because looking at the numbers, Ewers has the better numbers of the two in that game. But watching it, you can see that there's something missing there. It's not a complete product. And there's a lot of talk about him playing for a different team next year with
Oregon
He had two throws. He had two throws that were absolutely elite, though.
Yeah.
He had that seam throw on 4th and 13. That was a dime in between the safety and over the linebacker.
So it has that
part
of his game.
And then he had an outside the numbers throw to the boundary that was fucking beautiful too. And those are the two throws that you need to be damn sure of in the NFL. You can teach a slant, you can teach a little go route, or little out route, whatever. Like, well, not out routes are tough to throw, actually, to be fair. But
yeah, but those other ones are it's timing. It's just getting familiar with your teammates.
So what bothers me about Ewers is that it's not that there isn't parts of it that are there. It's just not complete enough to be a top 5 pick.
Well, like there's not that consistency.
Right. Consistency has to be had. If you're not consistent in college, you're damn well not going to be consistent in the NFL.
Yeah, if he was to come out this year, he would be one of those developmental players. Like, he's not.
I think
ready
that's a
to
fair
play.
assessment. I think that's a fair. But I would say he at least there are throws I've seen from Ewers over the last couple of years that are immaculate.
Get him with a good quarterback coach, one more year in college, somebody that
good offensive line when he does come in.
But really work on his lower half. It's about his lower half. His arm strength looks good, like you said, Chuck. Those throws were elite. He's got to get that lower half in. I really like that Sam Levitt kid. I'd like to see where his ceiling takes him.
He's sophomore?
Freshman.
Freshman, yes. You're correct.
And homeboy, now that we're talking about ASU, two things. Shout out to their coach.
Yes. Wow.
He signed a new deal.
Great job.
4-year deal. I forget his name. He's 34 years old.
Dillingham.
There you go.
Just keep winning the fucking Big 12, brother.
You
Arizona Big 12, dude.
You know what he did? I read this, that he held the team on the field to shake hands. To say congratulations, like the old school, he's good game handshake line.
He's a young kid, but dude, he's very, very old school.
That's so respectful, dude, because I'm sure those kids do, especially Scadaboo, who gave his life. He was over on the sideline 3/4 of the way dead.
That's a player that any team would like to have. He led this team in rushing and receiving.
I think he's an amazing college running back. I think
so
he
in the pros?
is a sub in. You need a yard to something like that. He's not explosive enough in the college. He's not explosive enough in the NFL. He's gonna bang between the tackles. Maybe he comes in as like, that fullback, the guy that comes out of the backfield, gets some catches on some of those short down runs. Because he's the fullback.Maybe he's your short yardage guy. But I don't think he's the one. Maybe you pair him with Dylan Sampson, because I think we've talked about this. Chuck talked about this last week. You can rebuild your whole running back room in this draft. This draft has elite running backs from start to finish. We talked about the kid Nicholas Singleton and Allen out of Penn State. Neither of those dudes are even going to go in the top 3. Right. And look at those runs they had. You have the Dylan Sampson kid, who's not a 3-down back, but he's elite speed. You could pair him maybe with Scadaboo. I don't think Scadaboo's draft stock. He might. I don't think he's explosive enough in the NFL when you have NFL speed everywhere. That
I can see that. And I agree with that, and I hope he does fall to the Niners in the fourth or third round.
And
that'd be great,
dude. And he could be great for 15 carries a game, 20 carries a game, but he's gonna be not 20, but like 10,
good
like
Lord,
10,
not even
10,
10.
12 carries. If you got the Dylan Sampson kid with him,
Spellbacks normally get like 5 to 8 if you're lucky, dude.
Well, depends on team, depends on
scheme.
Yeah,
sure,
he's not getting 20. He's more than that, like 8 to 10. But I don't think he's explosive enough. And we watched Trevon Henderson the game later. Yeah. That dude's explosive.
He turned that corner. He turned that corner and he was fucking moving.
You know what I'm
he
saying?
had that breakaway tud in the first quarter. That was just
so. Okay, let's get back to this game. Also, there's a play in this game that didn't fuck Arizona State, but fucked Arizona State. That fucking is a goddamn targeting.
Oh yeah, that's right. 16.
I'm surprised it wasn't called.
Well, because if you look at the clip of their kid, number 7, from the exact game before, it was the exact same hit. It was the exact same hit.
The Iowa State quarterback. He came in and hit him.
Head up, but
his
it
head
was still,
up. He didn't crown him.
Right.
And they called that a fucking target.
Right. And it was the same exact thing from 16.
And that kid came out and made a fucking hell of a play. Number 7, he's the kid came out.
Got the safety.
Got the safety, and didn't you get the fumble too, or cause that fumble later on?
Yeah, caused a. Yeah, that's right. Correct.
That was definitely a game-changing call that was not called.
Because that puts him in field goal range to end the game. No OT. No OT. That 15 yards puts him first and 15.
I can't believe
whatever.
they let fucking Ewers throw that fucking seam route on 4th and 13, though, man. Oh my lord.
Dude, and we talked about play calling. You know what?
Oh my lord.
Throughout these playoffs,
you had him, ASU. You had him.
Play calling is not like even Stark's play calling in that Texas game was not good. Arizona State's play calling in that game offensively at points in time was not good. There is some really not great play calling, not putting plays together, not understanding where you're at on the field.
Nobody can sustain a drive. That's what it's. It's either like it pops and you get that one big play and then you get into scoring position. Very rarely do you see 8 to 10 play drives that are successful.
But it's like we're not putting plays together either.
Exactly.
We have the kid from fucking Arizona State. He has a fucking 40-yard run, and the next play is another run.
You run him again. Yeah, you dive him again. How?
Like just things like that. Like Cam Scottaboo, he's already winded because he's been like getting hit all the time. He gets a big run. The next play, you hand it to him again. You have to go play action there. You have to do something. Texas not running the ball at the end of the game gave Arizona State the ball back.
If you want to run right there, you put your spell back in.
Correct.
Right there. Why the fuck wouldn't you do that one was one of the most confusing.
Yep.
But even Texas not running the ball.
Same thing when that shit was happening.
But even Texas not running the ball at the end of that when they were up. Dude, you threw the ball and took 0 time off the clock.
Oh yeah, when they were trying to eat the end of that clock. Yeah, so they did. They went 3 and out, and you only took like 20 some odd seconds off the clock.
We complain about play calling with some of the NFL teams. I have not necessarily been impressed with some of the play calling of some of these college teams.
It is unfortunate when you sit there and you're like, what the fuck? Like, I don't even know all the terminologies, you know what I mean? I couldn't probably read a college playbook if I'm being honest, but I can tell you that, that was not the right play call. Couch Warriors.
I mean, yeah, we're on the couch, but we've been influenced with all the games that we've watched and the games that we've played. And
I've watched a lot of football.
Yeah,
I've watched a lot of football in my lifetime.
It seems really odd at certain calls are called when they are. And
yes.
All I want when I go into a game from the officiating standpoint is whatever you're going to call it down the line. That's it. Whatever you establish is where you hold.
Well, the rule reads helmet-to-helmet contact on an unprotected receiver.
It's exactly what it
or
was.
runner,
exactly
right?
That,
Yeah,
dude. So it's just So it was we had epic, we had really good, we had good, and we had shitty. Let's hope that we got Thursday and Friday next week. Let's look at those 2 games. Let's hope that we get epic and epic. I don't know if we will. That usually doesn't happen. But who do we got on Thursday night, Trev?
Oh, shoot. I'm not even there. Give me a second.
Oh, the opening is Penn State.
Or the first game?
Yeah, you're right.
Penn State and
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
Instant predictions right now, instant reactions. What are you guys thinking? What's on top of your head? Charlie, start with you, and then I'll go. Trev, you go second.
I think Penn State should get this one.
No, I don't want should. I want you to. I want to know what you got.
Penn State.
Come on, brother.
I'm gonna call Penn State then, because I think that their defense is going to be more than enough to snuff that running game and hurt Leonard in the passing game as well. And then Allard, we just mentioned it, is good enough with, the talented running backs that they have. It's going to be a defensive slobberknocker, as they call it. I think that Penn State wins this one like 17-13.
Team
well,
on.
hopefully it's exciting. But before I even get to that, real quick, I just want to throw it out there that all top 4 seeds lost.
Correct.
So re-rankings got to be strongly considered when they go into next
Dude,
season
they need
for
to
this
redo
playoff.
the whole. And Oregon is one of those. They need to. It should have been 1 through 4. We all know how it should have been, but yes.
Well, Oregon was the only
Yeah,
undefeated
they should
Power
have been
5.
one.
They were one. They were
it
the
was
right one.
just a bad performance, but they were probably
2, 3, and
ranked.
4 were trash though.
No, Georgia should have been 2-ish. Texas and Ohio State should have been 3 and 4.
Ohio State was, yeah. I mean,
you
I
look
think
at-
that they're proving that
They are
fact
now.
right now. You know.
All right,
what I mean?
Trev. So what's your call?
So
Penn
I'm
State
on
Notre
the other
Dame.
side. I like Notre Dame here. I just
Marcus Freeman, dude, he's a way better coach.
I think he is better than Brian Kelly, and we're seeing
he's
that.
dude, he's better than Franklin on the other side. Marcus
sure.
Freeman right now, in my estimation, without going through it, is a top 5 college football head coach. I almost said top 3. I just couldn't put enough names on my board real quick to do it. But I bet you could argue Marcus Freeman's a top 3 college football head coach.
Which brings me to another point, quick sidebar. SEC, your newest team, Texas, is your only team in the 4 teams.
Dude, and I think that a reason this is this. We've kind of talked that we don't like how the transfer portal is handled and how the NIL is handled. But because of transfer portal and NIL, this is the way it's going to be. You have these guys. You don't have Alabama and Texas don't have
They don't
5
have the
deep at
depth.
receiver, 5 deep at running back. You don't have this depth of 5-star recruits everywhere. They're going and playing everywhere else because you can go play in the NFL from anywhere. You don't have to
Exactly.
be from Bama or from fucking Ohio State. So the Georgia teams, the Alabama teams, I think, Ohio State's probably the deepest team right now. They lost a lot of offensive linemen
Yes,
early in
well,
the season.
Big Ten looks strong.
But Ohio State, man, you got to look at some of the people that are coming out. If you just pull up Ohio State, you got 2 running backs. You're told both your pass rushers, 3 of your pass rushers, I think, are coming out. Just the depth, and I think the NIL and transfer portal has taken the depth away from the Georgias and Bamas, where you're not just 5-6 deep at these skill positions. Dude, look how many passes were dropped by Georgia. Those
Yeah.
are not elite receivers
They
on
had
the Georgia
a lot
Bulldogs.
of drops this year. It wasn't just
The absolute
playoff.
the easiest thing to trace back to is when they removed losing a year of eligibility, the instant transfer. Why not? Why not?
Dude, you can
you got
just go-
another school
yeah.
knocking at you saying, "Hey, bro, I know you're 3rd on this depth chart. You want to come start for me?"
Correct.
Why the fuck not?
well.
Correct.
At least I'm gonna play. You know.
Get that opportunity.
Yeah,
You're getting that money.
Gotta put,
you're
you
going to
gotta
get a
put
chance.
tape. You gotta put tape out there. You gotta get out there.
What do you think scores, Trev?
Before I get to that
Finish-
real
yeah,
quick,
finish.
just on top of that, I also think the SEC might not have the best coaches in as far as conferences go as well. Like they have good coaches, no doubt, but
They're
Big
kind of
Ten
resting
is
on their laurels.
showing they got some good coaches too, man. Like I don't think they're the best coaching conference anymore like they used to be.
What do you think score? Penn State,
Score-wise,
Notre Dame.
I'm
Chuck's at
thinking-
17-13.
Yeah, I'm
hoping
I'm
for
a little bit
a
more.
2017 kind of game.
I was thinking. So here I'm stuck. Think Marcus Freeman's. Here's my thought process.
You lay it out for us.
Marcus Freeman, better coach. Easily better coach.
In Franklin, okay.
Notre Dame is people transfer into Notre Dame. People don't transfer out of Notre Dame. Notre Dame is consistency with everybody. The whole thing is a little bit higher than Penn State. I have a hard time picking.
That might be a hot take there, bro.
I have a hard time taking Notre Dame over Penn State with Drew Allard, Allen, Singleton in the backfield as 2 elite running backs. The defensive line, I know Carter
though.
could be out, but number 15 shelled out 2 in the game against Boise State. I'm more leaning towards Penn State, but I'm going to go with coaching wins games, and I'm taking 24-23. Notre Dame kicks a field goal at the end of the game to win.
1 point.
Oh, damn.
Pick'ems, basically.
I hope so.
Yeah, that would be fucking
That's what I think.
edge of the seat kind of
I
thing.
I think Notre Dame's going to do enough to hang around offensively, even though I think Drew Allard, I've watched him now the last so many games. Give that kid one more year and somebody just make him more consistent, and I think he's going to be like,
One of
dude,
the
he does
top guys.
he those throws against. I know it's against Boise State, and you can say whatever. You still have to throw a ball like that to put it in the place that he did on some of those balls. He threw that one ball 50 yards in the air on a dime to that kid in the end zone, and it looked easy. Throwing 50
Measurables.
yards.
He has said measurables. That's what the NFL drools over. And then if you can go out there and execute like throws, they like freak athleticism, but it's all about how you throw.
So 2 Notre Damers and 1 Penn Stater. All right.
I'm going Nittany Lions. I'm always
All right, boys.
against the grain here.
Friday night, we got Texas. We got Ohio State. I'll start.
Go for it.
I will never, ever root for Ohio State in my whole life. Horns up, double hand horns up. We coming, Quinn Ewers. He's gonna throw some toddies. We're gonna get some dingers. Texas Longhorns going to the national
Isn't Notre Dame
championship.
supposed to be a fucking chief USC rival though too?
I can root for Notre Dame over fucking Ohio. I can't root for Ohio State. They're on the.
I'm not saying I disagree with you. I'm not pulling for Ohio State.
They're on the
I
no-fly
wasn't
zone.
against them beating Oregon.
But
I'm not gonna lie.
I do think Ohio State's got all the juice coming in. They look like a better team. I want to see the Texas in the middle of the year. I want to see Texas from OT. That's what Texas I want to see.
Oh yeah, from
slinging and
the
digging it.
last drive in the fourth quarter and OT Texas.
So I want to see that Texas. I want to see the Texas from the middle of the year when they were slinging it all over the yard and running the ball when they wanted to. That defense line for Texas is the only thing that played good against Arizona State, and they are fucking elite. That defense line is
has
fucking
been
elite.
amazing for about 3-4 years now.
They got some good defensive backs too.
They do. They do. I mean, Texas' defense was really good. I know they broke down, but that was also because they were on the field the whole fucking time. I think Texas' defense
against
is good.
ASU in particular, yeah.
Trev?
Oh man, this is tough because the star power on Ohio State is so strong.
It's there.
Just
It's
look
there.
at it. You got not counting Travis Hunter because I don't count Travis Hunter as receiver. He's called the unicorn. He's 101.
True.
You have the third highest rated receiver coming out. You have 3 dudes in the defensive line that are probably get drafted in the second round with Sawyer and that two whatever.
Your
how you
best
decide
receiver
to-
might also be a freshman.
He is. Jeremiah Smith is.
Well, there you go. That's what I'm saying.
He'll
So
be the
you got
number
to,
one
you got to. Well, he
eventually.
can't go out.
Yeah,
you know,
can't
these
go
guys.
out
Yeah.
now. He's still got, and he's a true freshman, so he still has 2 more years. He has to be a junior.
He's gonna be making
Redshirt
some
him.
serious
Redshirt
money,
him next
dude.
year.
Well,
Let him just soak up money.
But getting back to that, man, I hope Texas somehow can pull this off. Like, I'm hoping Ohio State, they haven't put up these. They've been the most impressive team, but they haven't consistently been this team that they are showing that they are
lost
right
to
now.
Michigan. They lost. They had struggles throughout the year. They are on fire right now. Is this the Ohio State, the one that we should have been expecting all year? Because it hasn't looked like it.
I do have a question for you, real quick, since we're here. Who do you like better at coaching between the two?
Stark. I think Ryan.
You don't
I
like
don't
Day
know of how
as
much. Yeah, I don't know if I think Ryan Day is a good coach. I like Stark a little bit more.
I mean,
Ryan,
I think
Ryan, the Ohio State teams are so elite, and then you lose some of these games, not necessarily just Michigan, but then some of the way you perform in other games too. I don't know. I like Stark a little bit more, but Stark did we just said it.
that's not
Stark's coaching
favoritism
job
from
was
him being at USC.
probably.
Or
But Stark's coaching last week was not great. So, but he's
got
a play
better.
caller, and he's a play caller. So I'm gonna hang my hat just a little bit on Stark, but it's close.
I feel like I'm kind of praying for Texas because I feel like if Ohio State wins this game, they're going to win the national championship.
Yeah, and I can't do that. You can't have no fucking Ohio State, whatever they are, like a flower, some shit, a Buckeye. It's not even like a cool animal. It's a freaking flower.
So I'm gonna go.
It's like an acorn, dude. It's actually just like this little, like it's a nut.
Yeah.
It's an
That's what I'm
acorn.
saying. Who wants to root for that shit? I want to see some crazy animals, some Vikings, some fucking like soldiers. Like an acorn. Who roots for an acorn?
A lot of people, dude. Ohio State is a blue blood.
Not my
What's
blood.
I see that, but what's your prediction overall, Trev?
So
You're going Tejas? I get you, Downey.
The other thing that we didn't really touch on in the Texas game against Arizona is they missed 2 kicks, and those 2
Aubrey
kicks
was not on point. No,
that
His
kind
hairdo isn't on point either.
that concerns me. I'm
that's a personal opinion.
I'm gonna say 30-31. Come on, Texas.
Yeah, that's what I'm at. I'm gonna shoot out too. I'm 35-30 Texas.
I'm gonna take Ohio State
know
to win
you
this
are.
game.
It's a good head pick.
I'm gonna take Ohio State to win this game.
Of course, Chuck roots for the nut.
Listen, both of these teams have really good parts. Both of these teams kind of have some flaws. But they like when they both click, though. I think Ohio State is just the next level of speed.
I think their star power is stronger.
Exactly. And if it might not show up, that Texas defensive line could absolutely ruin Will Howard's day. 1,000%.
If you can stop the run on Texas, make Will Howard be the person that has to beat you, they're not going to sling it all over the field. Jeremiah Smith isn't going to be open all day long against
Not
Texas.
if you don't have to prepare for, or if you just know that that's where they're going to go. Like,
Right.
yeah, for sure. But I don't think they put up 41 like they did against Oregon. I think this is going to be closer to like a 28-24 Ohio State win.
Alrighty, ladies and gents, that's what we got for next week. I do want to touch on something real quick with the NBA before we go to break. You guys seen this Jimmy Butler BS?
Oh yeah.
Did I see it?
So Jimmy basically wants out of Miami. He's not happy. He's happy living there, not happy playing for the Heat. They suspended him like 5 or 6 games for those comments to the media. Dude, I'm so
they can get away with that.
I'm so
first off.
tired of these basketball players in particular pushing their ways out of these situations after signing like these huge 7-8 year deals and
Well,
all
he's
this
still
shit.
he's up for a new deal.
Nobody
I hear.
signs that long of a deal
Right.
in the NBA, really.
But it
though.
just it like I don't know, man. I don't like the NBA player empowerment's been okay. I do not like. I'm glad the Miami suspended him. I like it. I'm all about it.
I understand not wanting to play him, but having to suspend him to do it just seems weird to me because
Well, they
I don't
suspended
think
him on his comments at the media. That's what they specifically.
That's what they fell back on. Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, sure, they're not great comments, but are they really that derogatory that warrants a suspension? That's kind of
Conduct
crazy.
detrimental to
Contract
team.
detrimental to team. I think it's contract detrimental.
He
to
didn't
team.
really say anything that bad.
Hey, he wants out. He wants out.
He said he wants out. A lot of players say that. That's the league these days. We were talking
happened?
about it just now.
Remember that dude for the Mets who was like, "Do I play on the worst team?" He's like,
Yeah.
"Well, maybe."
Maybe.
So, then he got relegated to AAA, but like
They cut his ass.
Yeah, well, there you go. That's what I'm saying.
Got to touch on it real quick because
Oh,
my team has been
shit.
linked as one of the teams that could be interested. I hope we do not sign him.
Locker room poison. Dude.
Yep.
It's not even
Yep.
that.
That's what it is for me.
And he's not.
That's what it will come back
He's
to.
like, dude, he's playoff Jimmy and all that. Dude, so that was 2 years ago. Last year, he was not very good at all
He
through
was
the whole year.
schmah. He was schmah.
He's not
definitely
bubble Jimmy anymore.
He's on the downhill
He's
slope of his
35.
career.
One, yeah, and his game is based off explosiveness. And what's going to happen with age is you're going to lose explosiveness.
Defensively, you lose your step. And
Also, real
explosiveness.
quick in an NBA point, shout out to the Chicago Bulls for retiring D Rose as number 1.
That's nice.
Yeah, that broke out yesterday.
But
They're just trying to be significant in the news because they suck so bad.
Well, you don't give it to Rose? You don't think that he was worthy of having his number retired?
Probably.
He's
I
the
don't
last
know.
time they'd had an MVP since Jordan.
It would have been a lot easier if he didn't have the injury.
Oh, he had a shitload. He had an absolute shitload. He only had about 4 years of elite play, but
Yeah.
dude, those were so fun to watch. Oh my god, Prime D Rose.
But I just,
something
dude,
to write home about.
I'm just kind of over and I haven't, dude. I watched a little bit of NBA the other night, and I was like, it just like this stuff with the Jimmy Butler stuff, and it's just nothing. It just doesn't want to grab me.
I could get on board with bringing Jimmy Butler in if the price was right, but I feel like they're going to ask too much and somebody's going to give too much for
He
that.
is going to ask way too much for what the juice is not going to be worth the squeeze with
Yep,
him.
that's how I feel.
I hope he goes to the Mavericks.
That wouldn't make sense. That dynamic would not make sense.
That's why I want him to go there.
Why not Philly?
Oh, he can go back to Philly too. That'd be cool.
Going back to Philly.
That
Ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen.
He go hang out with his buddy Joel Embiid.
He said, I mean, he was so upset with Miami that anywhere.
Yeah, he go hang out with the Charlotte Bobcats, play with Lonzo or Leangelo. Is that which one plays down there?
No, dude, it's fucking LaMelo.
LaMelo.
I mean,
Hey, bro,
There's a lot of them. I didn't know.
You know what? Like,
And when you're a Schman, I don't know your name.
If you've watched
Schman.
any LaMelo ball, the kid is doing some things down in Charlotte. He just doesn't have a squad around him, but he's a fucking baller, dude. Like, I hate to say that because I didn't like his little scrawny ass attitude when he was, a younger kid or whatever. But he's really coming into his own, like for real. Like his highlights are the problem with LaMelo is that he's current day NBA. He is 1,000% the current day game, and you either like that or don't. And in this pod, we're far more of 80s, 90s, thousands style game. Now I know obviously Steph Curry for a Warriors fan, you can't go back. That was the pendulum. That's where the levee broke.
it changed
And
so much.
it's not Steph's fault. In the sense
It's all his fault for being so
for
damn
being
fucking
amazing.
good.
Yeah, for getting 4 championships.
For just being able to throw the ball in the hoop wherever he is.
the greatest
his
shooter
mechanics
of
are
all
insane,
time.
and it's not even close. It's not even close. I love Reggie Miller and I love Ray Allen, but it's not even close.
Nah.
Just his quick timing release is absurd.
He set another record
The
last
movement off the
week.
ball.
He went eight-
We're not going to turn this into a Curry gushing
He
session.
went 8 for 8 from 3-point land.
He did.
He's the
Yeah.
person only probably to shoot more than like 5 3-pointers to go perfect from that.
There was the NBA record was 9 of 9, and there was somebody shouting at him from the crowd, "You got to take one more."
Do it.
Yeah, so he didn't break it, but he was one behind it.
Oh, okay. We're going to take a break, get another round of brewskis. We're going to come back with NFL playoff picture and Balls and Brews is award winners, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, there we go.
Or where, based off of kind of what we talked about earlier preseason and where we're at and where it's actually going to, because,
No, we hand out our awards.
Oh, our award.
It's Balls and Brews is MVP.
Who we think should
This is
win
the second
medals.
annual.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
Well, let's go.
Welcome back to Balls and Brews. Cheers, boys. Look at the color of this brewski, kids.
Come on.
Not kids, because we don't promote drinking under 21. Huh. I don't know what to think of that.
Way too coffee for me.
Too much coffee for
It's a
you?
lot of coffee.
Too
right
much
there.
coffee for me. Cat Pacino out of Los Angeles, California. Party Bill.
It's definitely coffee.
Party Beers, sorry. It is also apparently a collaboration with La Mill as well. I'm assuming they're out of L.A. L.A. Mill. That makes sense. Ha ha ha. 6. Ha 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 ha. It drinks at 6.6. Yeah, I mean, okay. If you like, the can's great. The Angry Cat's great.
It is
Two
very
coffee.
coffee.
2 coffee for me.
It's definitely heavy on the coffee.
I will drink this as tribute.
Yes, you will.
But I don't believe maybe it will open up to different. It does say that it's brewed with vanilla bean. I get none of that.
No,
I
I don't
just
vanilla?
get coffee. No,
I get all bean, coffee bean.
I just get coffee. Yeah,
I'm all coffee right
so
now.
It's very
tough,
coffee
tough for
forward.
me. But you win some, you lose some. So
Chug
not
it.
my cup of tea. I'm
Chug
gonna
it.
drink this. pretty quick.
Chug it. Chug it.
I mean,
Chug it.
but don't act. Just stop. You need to stop being, an
influencer?
enabler. Yeah,
Instigator.
that's the worst goddamn word. If anything, I love our podcast and I hope you listen to us, but I am not trying to influence shit. I'm just trying to be out here
I'm
talking
trying to
sports.
influence my views
On you. Well, at least he's honest, all right? We're peeling back the curtain. We are trying to control you.
So we got some. Week 18
Is now.
Massive disappointing season for me. Massive disappointing season for Trev. Chuck's team just missed the playoffs.
But so in that case, I wouldn't say it was disappointing. Like
Not massive, at least.
No, exactly.
I'm massive.
Yeah,
I'm massive.
everything is a disappointment if you don't make the playoffs. You're right. But
Well,
as far
no,
as like we're
no.
gonna end this season above 500 in a rookie head coach's first season, there are holes in our game. Obviously, it's the reason why we didn't make the postseason. But the foundation of that team is solid. It's going to be really interesting to see what we have to do at quarterback. Anyway, this segment's not about Seattle.
I mean, but it is so disappointing to have that. You should have had this week matter.
If Gino didn't throw 5 red zone turnovers and threw 5 more touchdowns, if he was 22-15 instead of 17-15, this team would be in the playoffs.
That's why we wrote, dude. It is. I know we've touched on this almost like 3 or 4 weeks in a row now. That is why this year is so crazy coming up.
Yeah.
After after Super Bowl and all that, the free agency, because there is no. We just talked about it in the kitchen.
There's nobody.
There are no quarterbacks.
I want my team to re-sign Gino. I really do. There's nothing available that I want to give up enough equity for, or that is good enough to replace a guy.
And I know we'll
just gotta clean it up.
we're going to go down some massive rabbit holes, I think, this offseason more than most, because of there is no – last year we had 5 good dudes go out in the first round.
6
dudes go in the first round. We're going to have maybe 6 dudes go in the whole draft. It's going to be crazy. So let's jump into the playoff picture. We're going to start in the AFC. So right now the 5-4 matchup, if stuff ended today, is the Chargers playing Houston, which is huge because the Steelers lost. So the Chargers have to win today to finish out that matchup, right? Because if they lose and the Steelers come back and they get that 5,
Not the Steelers. I mean, Steelers are sitting at 6. They would be the team first out if Denver or Miami win, and you get to see,
So the Chargers have 5 wrapped up no matter what. Then
I think
the Steelers
so.
can't. Okay,
Because of the Steelers lost the other night, last night.
even if the Chargers lose.
Well, either way, no, the Chargers are in the playoffs, so it doesn't matter though.
Well, I know,
the
we're
Chargers
just
and the
talking-
Steelers
I think
are both
they're
in the
locked at
playoffs.
5 at
It's
this
only
point.
it's only 7 that's available.
No, I know. We're
well,
just talking matchup going through the bracket.
That's I don't know who has the tiebreaker between the Chargers and the Steelers.
So you could, but this is where you want to be,
I
right?
assume it's the Chargers though, because they're ranked ahead of the Steelers at this point.
But if you're the Chargers or the Steelers, you want to be the 5 seed. You want to play the Houston Texans.
Sure.
You don't want to go and play
You
the
want
fucking
to also give
Ravens.
yourself the availability for if there's an upset to host a game. 5 is the only real, like 6 can host a game. Only the NFC, only the championship game. 5 you can host a game the next round if you get the upset. So
Correct.
As a 5 seed, and yes, in the AFC, the absolute weakest opening target would be the Texans, and it's not even close.
Not even close,
Yeah,
dude. It's,
yeah.
You don't want
The
to see
other 3 seeds are potential Super Bowl favorites. Like
you don't want to see the Ravens. You don't want to see the Bills. And then the only thing though, if you're the 5 seed, you don't want to. That's where you want to be. You want to be at the 5 right now, playing the
1,000%
Texans.
in the AFC. 1,000%.
Okay, so then the 6-3 seed, if it ended today, dude, 3 seeds the
Ravens.
Ravens. Guess
Yeah.
who's a 6 seed now? The Steelers.
That'd be
That's a
hilarious.
huge first round matchup, guys. Because it's
Just
even,
coming off of the game that they just played.
dude. Most of those games only come down to like 3 points and shit, right? Like, oh my god.
They say it's really hard to beat a team 3 times in a season.
well, and the Steelers haven't won a game in a while either. They're kind
Yeah,
of
they're on a
losing
downhill
streak.
You know what I was?
falling into the playoffs.
You know what I was
Not
like,
good.
kind of looking at this Steelers team. Like, remember that Ben Roethlisberger team?
Which
6-7 years ago that started off like 10-0,
9-0, yeah.
and then they kind of faltered
Yeah.
and they slipped into the playoffs and got smoked.
Yeah.
This is kind of what this Steelers team is starting to remind me. Like, offensively, they are not good.
Not good enough.
Pickens is so up and down. It's
Inconsistent.
ridiculous.
Yes,
It's
correct.
ridiculous.
No.
Their best receiving options, the tight end and Freiermuth. They keep trying to work on their offense line, but it doesn't quite seem to gel. Maybe they don't have a good offensive line coach. I don't fucking know, but it just doesn't seem like it gels. Dude, we've liked a lot of their picks.
They've had a lot of young. They got a lot of young guys playing on that O line,
Yeah,
but
for
it hasn't
Sean
really been a strength
and-
of that team at all.
At all. For
Which
years.
is crazy because that used to be, you know, one of the things they would hang their hat on
Yep.
was they'd fucking maul you up front on both sides of the trenches.
They were that
Like-
run defense.
Watching some James Harrison highlights, I know he was technically a linebacker, but he would also just wreak havoc on people in the backfield, and that man is terrifying. You ever listen to an interview with James Harrison?
Yeah.
He'll send shivers down your spine, dude. Like, and he'll catch you too. He'll catch you. He will. I'm not faster than him, and you run faster than me.
That's why as the Chargers, I think you want to win today just to make sure you wrap up that
1,000%.
because you don't want to see the Ravens.
You don't want to leave it up to chance. You want to play
Yeah.
the Texans.
Another horrible, or you know, come on.
I don't know, man. I don't want to go. I don't want to have to be. I don't want to go to Baltimore.
Yeah,
No.
I wouldn't want to either. If you don't have
No,
to.
if you could go to Houston or you can go to Baltimore, a dome,
Yeah.
or open air fucking Baltimore in late
Cold.
January, yeah, fuck that.
And then the last matchup of the first week in the AFC would be the number 2 seed Bills, who wrapped that up against the 7 seed, which right now is the Broncos. Broncos have to win. If
Against
Broncos don't win,
Kansas City, who's sitting everybody.
Everybody.
if the Broncos don't win and Miami beats the Jets, then Miami's in. If Miami and the Broncos both lose, then the Bengals are in. And I swear to God, if you fucking Broncos and Miami both lose, I'm going to have a fucking conniption
Come
fit.
on, Joey B.
Dude,
Come on. You know that'd be good for the postseason.
I don't
you
want it to be
know
good.
that'd
I don't want it to be
good
good for postseason. I need my guy J.A. to play the
Oh,
fucking...
my God.
I really would...
He's on.
If the Dolphins could win, that would be epic.
That's probably what's going to happen.
Please no. I'd much rather see Allen versus Burrow. I don't want to see
wanna see-
Miami there just because
I think Denver can be competitive. I
place.
think Miami would get ran out as a 7 seed, and then obviously nobody wants to see Burrow. It doesn't matter what seed he's in.
It doesn't matter what seed.
Nope.
We all know how I feel about J.A., so I'm looking for easiness, not like crazy shit.
Lame.
And then obviously,
Lame. As a competitor, you should want to see talent play talent.
I want to see him play the Broncos, or the 7th seed is the Dolphins.
LeMay.
And then also KC has the number 1 seed wrapped up with just another impeccable season, and they look like they're getting hot.
The only person who beat him was Josh Allen.
Dude, it's the AFC playoffs, dude. Is
Until Mahomes falters, we're in the Mahomes era right now, and I hate to say that.
first three-peat. We've never seen it happen before, man. They're right there, dude. I don't know.
Trev, I need that energy. Who's bumping it? Stop bumping the table. Who be out there with their
Did I?
knees?
I'm sorry if I did.
Okay.
I mean, Denver looks to be they should win
Denver
that
should
7th
win
spot.
today. Denver should.
They
win
should.
today.
Yeah, I know they should. But how laughable would that be if Carson Wentz just comes out and just fucking
Slinging, dinging it, brother.
slinging danging?
Bro.
Dude, if he does, I said it earlier. What happens if he actually comes out and looks good?
Just
we know
for
the
this,
talent's
dude. I
there.
hate the Broncos. I would love for the Chiefs to win this game.
He
But
could be one of those free agent quarterbacks.
That's what I'm saying. He was
Dude,
the other
and-
name.
and hopefully-
He was the other name.
Hopefully, Aaron Rodgers has a throwback game and throws for 304 tuds
I hope.
and beats Miami.
I
I
hope-
want
I hope
Burrow
Aaron
in the
Rodgers-
fucking
I
playoffs.
hope Aaron Rodgers quits like he did last week.
I believe if the Jets lose, Aaron Rodgers will be. There was some record that he was in not a good record, a bad record that he was going to be the leader of as far as quarterbacks. Damn it.
Sorry.
Lamest.
I'm sorry, it threw me off. But it's all bad if Rodgers loses
bad,
today.
yeah.
He's going to lead in a statistical category that no
Too
one
many
wants to be a
dicks have
part
been
of.
swallowed. Yeah, he can't cough anymore. His air pipe is swollen shut.
God, I hope that. I just hope you, dude. I sit here and I get
You sit
nervous
there. You do
every
sit
day
there.
with the free agency stuff because
You're worried your team's going to bring one of those guys
one
in.
of these dickheads in. Dude, bring me in. TB. Tommy. My favorite number is 12 too. Me and you, we can work together. We figure this shit out. I'm telling you, brother. The team would be constructed differently if I was not GM, but assistant GM,
Talent
assistant
advisor.
GM.
How old's Tom Brady? He'd still probably be the best free agent quarterback in this market.
He would be, 100% sure. That's a good point.
Or if he decided to throw his
Hey,
name,
I'm gonna
in,
play for my team
quarterback.
that but part.
well, you can't do that.
Never seen before. GM quarterback. Let's
You
get
guys-
to the NFC. Let's get to the NFC, ladies and
Let's
gentlemen.
go. Let's go to the NFC. Where
We're gonna
Chuck
start a
got
little
two NFC playoff teams right.
We're going to start a little differently in the NFC because how we want to finish.
Sure.
The NFC has got a lot more going on than the AFC. The AFC only really has those. Maybe Chargers can fall depending on tiebreaker if they lose the Steelers, and then you only have the 7 seed. NFC's got the 1 seed can change, the 5 seed can change, the 4 and the 3 seed can change.
Oh damn!
Yeah, there's a lot of a lot of movement, so it's kind of hard to say.
It's the teams are more or less set. The
Okay.
Falcons are the only one who can play themselves in.
Correct.
But like as far as like where everybody can go is vastly different depending on
Yeah, the
outcomes.
seeding is
So the
much
only
different.
thing that's said is a number 2 seed.
Right,
Philly.
And
Wow.
that
Philly.
is the
Right.
Philadelphia
Yeah.
Eagles.
Yeah.
So technically, and then I don't think the 7 seed can change with the Packers. I think the Packers are set at 7.
No, they can.
They can go to 6.
if they win, yes, and
Commanders.
lose, yeah, then they would jump them for the 6th seed.
But those 7 teams are set.
The 2
No,
seeds
because
set.
the Falcons can still jump the Bucks
that's
in the
right, that's
NFC
the one
South,
team.
which it's kind of going that way right now.
Yeah, what is the scores right now, Charlie? While we're
I'm
looking
gonna, I'm
at
gonna
this.
refresh, and I'm gonna let you know right
Because
now,
right now
that
this-
game is 24-17 Falcons at
Okay.
the half and 16-6 Saints start of the third quarter. This is happening for the Falcons right now, as it were. This is exactly what they need.
And
Then I could get 3 NFC teams in.
And yeah, the reason I missed that was because, I mean, the Packers sitting at the 7th seed have 11 wins, and we're talking about the South, who 9-win team might win the South if the Buccaneers lose and the Falcons win.
The Buccaneers' offense over the last 6 weeks has been elite. Like number 1 in like the number
Well,
1
they
in
have the
NFC.
ball to start the half, so I mean, this game could flip. There's 30 minutes left.
Plenty of
Like it's
time.
not late, yeah. But right now, as it sits, the Falcons are doing exactly what they need to.
So we know the Commanders are also in, so they're going to get
Correct.
the 3, or they're going to get the 6 or 7 seed. The Rams are also in; they're going to get the 3 or 4 seed. Okay.
Right.
Now, the big time shit
time.
is
This is
1
crazy.
and
We've never
5.
seen this. We've never seen this
1
before.
and 5, 14 and 2
Each, both
each.
of
The
them. I
Detroit
know,
Lions
that's nuts.
at the It's at the Vikings today.
No, it's at the Lions. It's in Detroit.
14-2
It's the only time this has ever happened.
Ever.
With two teams over 13 wins each.
What a way
It's
to
the
finish the
only
season.
time.
So winner of this game gets a
Tonight's
1
game.
seed.
We're going to watch history tonight.
Loser gets the 5 seed, guys. And
And
I
it
tell
should
you
be
what,
good.
right now, if
tell
I am a
us.
Detroit Lions fan, I am shaking in my boots because if I get the fucking 5 seed, you go to play either the 4 at the Bucks, or if the Bucks
Atlanta.
win, and then you get Atlanta. No, if the Bucks win, you would get the Rams. I would be more happy to play the Falcons if I have to see a Bucks team at a 5 seed going into Tampa, or have to go into LA and see Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay. I do not
Tampa
necessarily
was one
feel
of the
great.
only teams that beat them this year.
I do not feel great about my chances right now as a Lions fan if I lose this game.
Even
Okay,
with
who do
the
you think's
South
gonna win?
being,
I think the
what
Vikings
it
win
is.
tonight and the Vikings take the 1 seed.
Ooh.
Lions get knocked out first round of the playoffs. Vikings Eagles
We're
NFC
going
championship
deep.
game. Vikings Eagles championship game.
I'm actually kind of with you. The injuries to Detroit is just, I feel like it's just too much to
You gotta
overcome.
put up 40 every
It's
fucking
too
game,
much.
dude.
You have great coaching. You have a great offense.
And
But,
your defensive coaching is not bad. You have no players.
oh yeah, no, I think Aaron Glenn could have. He might be a head coach after
You've-
this.
You've gone
Well,
through
He's going to
almost
get some
Friday.
consideration.
You've
He's gonna
literally
get some
gone through
consideration.
basically, I think it was 8 defensive linemen, and then all
Oh
of your
yeah, no,
linebackers are gone.
their secondary's been. They have like 20 or 25% of their roster on IR. Like they are.
It's
And
so
they're competing for the 1 seed. I mean, how crazy is that?
Great
Aiden
coaching.
Hutchinson went down in week 5,
Yep.
6, somewhere around there. Like
It's a testimony to Dan Campbell,
Yep.
Aaron Glenn, and Ben Johnson.
grit is what they call it up there in Detroit.
I pray for Detroit because you know, it sucks if you go down and lose. Say you do lose tonight, and then you lose in the first round of playoffs. You might not ever get back here again because the fact you might lose both coordinators.
Outside of LA, it doesn't really bother me who gets to the Super Bowl in the NFC. This is a pretty Seahawk-friendly field.
I mean, when it comes down to it, as long as it's not the Chiefs, is kind of how I feel.
Overall, it's yes. I'm so I understand history. You should not be pulling for the fucking Chiefs either, Mr. fucking Vegas.
I'm Josh Allen, motherfucker. What are you talking about?
That's true too. They can't even get to the Super Bowl if JA is supposed to make it and win it.
He's winning it.
Okay.
Okay, right here. I'm having this premonition, Chuck.
Premonition.
I see him again holding it up. He's got the belt for MVP of the Super Bowl and the Super Bowl trophy, and then they're going to give him MVP
They're
of
going
the
to give
year.
him a belt. They're going to bring in a
Triple
belt
crown.
just for him.
Triple crown.
Strap him
Discount,
up.
double check.
He's going triple crown. Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl winner, and MVP of the regular season.
Yeah, we'll see.
I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing it. I like Josh Allen. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Burrow do the same thing,
Speaking of
though.
awards, Downey.
Oh.
This is our time.
This is our time.
This is Balls and Brews awards season right here.
And so we've done it 2 years. So basically, all three of us are going to vote on who we think the MVP. Not going to be voted in. Who we think the MVP is.
Yeah,
MVP
sure,
to be.
absolutely.
Yes. Obviously, we're going to leave MVP for last
Why?
because
It's
it's
the
the best
most
award.
Biggest award. It's
Okay.
like the Heisman.
Coach of the year. Chucky, start with Coach of the year.
Shit, man. Okay, so Dan Quinn's a great candidate. Who else was I thinking about just now? I'm just blanking on him.
I got my vote. My vote's like I've already written it down and I'm sliding it in.
Yeah.
Trevor, you sliding yours in?
Sign it in.
There was one that was out of nowhere for me, and I can't remember it at this point. I think just given, where they were supposed to be and what they've done with a rookie quarterback, I think it's going to be Dan Quinn. That's where I'm going with. That's the one that pops in the head.
Mario, who you want to go?
You can go.
So Connell.
It's O'Connell.
I'm sorry. No, that's the one. That's the one. I forgot. No, yeah.
We all had the
No,
Vikings
Minnesota was
finishing
supposed
last
to be
in that
down
division.
here. No, yeah.
With Sam Darnold.
Thank you, guys.
I
Yes.
won
Yeah.
14 games.
KOC.
Win or
Yeah.
lose today, it doesn't matter.
Duh.
He is the coach of
If
the
we
year.
had a trophy, it'd be like a beer can we'd hand to him or something. But as Balls and
Ooh,
Brews,
we
I
should
think,
do that.
I think that we should, and
I
then
like
we
that.
could do.
I like that.
We can have shit listers and beer can award winners.
I think
Ooh,
that
yes.
I think that Kevin O'Connell is our coach of the year on the show, but I think he's also going to win the award.
No, yeah, 100%. Honestly, no, I'm sorry. That's the one that it was slipped
It
to my mind. I don't
eluded
know
you.
how. Yeah, it did very much. Just like Justin Jefferson on that team did, fucking
He has a thing
70
for you,
pods ago.
Vikings.
I can't. Fuck
What's
the
up with the
purple people
Vikings,
eaters.
dude? You
I don't
don't
know.
like
Why not? I'm fuck them.
Oh, damn.
That's rough. I don't say that at all.
And you don't have to.
Offensive player of the year. My vote is in, and it's been. I think it's an easy peasy vote.
Since he's not going to win the MVP,
Correct.
yeah, it's going to be Joe Burrow. It's Jamar Chase is probably, the other one you might lean, or Saquon.
I was going to vote for
But
Saquon.
I
was gonna go Saquon as well.
If he's not going to get the MVP, it's going to go to
You're
Burrow.
going to sit him out where he probably would have had the rushing title if he plays.
I think Saquon should be at. Chuck, can we convince you to go 3-0 on this vote, or you got somebody else?
No, I'm going Burrow, offensive
Okay.
player of the year.
So-
Yeah, I think because he won't win the MVP because of his overall record. Even if they sneak into the playoffs, he cannot get MVP. But his offensive production has been
It's been-
fucking undeniable. 42 tuds
true.
with 4,400 yards.
I don't hate on that.
So Saquon, because last year we gave
Is
it
a
to
stud, too.
last year we
I'm-
gave it to
hey,
CMC.
let me-
This year
let
we're
me-
giving it to Saquon.
Running
Two-
backs
two
deserve
running
it.
backs.
Let
Two
me
running
also state that I have no problem with that take. Saquon is an absolute
Saquon, here's
animal and has fucking, stepped up in a year.
Here's your word,
That Joe Shane clip from Hard Knocks where he's like, it's not like he'll run for 2,000 yards or anything.
He fucking jumped over somebody to do backwards.
Backwards.
Fired.
Glitch. You can't even do that in Madden. That's not even programmed. It's not a thing.
You can't.
You're not supposed to be able to do
It's
that in
better
real
than
life.
video
Yeah,
games.
it is. It's insane.
So far, Balls and Brews awards have gone to Kevin O'Connell and Saquon Barkley.
I got outvoted, yeah, but I
understand I understand.
Burrow is a good nomination.
I just think yes, I'm
Yes.
yes.
Defensive Rookie of the Year. I'm voting for Jared Verse. I picked him at the beginning. I still think he is. And I only think there's maybe one other dude that can go with him. And I think Trevor picked him at the beginning of the year. But I'm going to go Jared Verse. I think what the Rams did defensively, draft-wise, they killed it. Verse and then Frisk together. The Rams do a really great job drafting, and it's no secret around here. But I'm going to Jared Verse. I think he made the most impact other than maybe Quignon, but I'll go Verse.
As far as defensive rookies of the year, I'm 100% with you there, but I'm sticking with my guy TJ. Like we thought the Steelers would be good, not this good. Nobody thought the Steelers would be this good.
No, we're doing rookie of the year.
Oh, rookie.
Rookies.
I'm bad. My bad.
We're not doing it. Yeah.
So you're taking Verse as far defensive rookie or just
defensive rookie? Because
Okay.
you do a defensive rookie there and
An offensive, right?
Gotcha.
So I'm going Jared Verse, defensive rookie of the year.
Who did I have at the beginning?
Quignon Mitchell, who's the only other one that I think even gets close. I think.
There hasn't been that like breakout rookie
Because
versus the closest to.
Honestly,
He has like 8 sacks, right?
something like that. And,
Wow.
like his quarterback pressures are like really high because he went for a while. He went like 5 or 6 games
With a sack.
without a sack.
Oh, without
but
a
then
sack.
He was
Oh, that's
But
right.
his quarterback pressure numbers were off the chain, like really high those weeks. He just didn't, and just didn't get the actual sack itself, but was pressuring high.
I mean, Mitchell's been good, but I actually kind of lean Verse at the end of the season where we're at. Like,
Dude,
he did better. He impressed me. I thought he was going to be good. I didn't know he was going to be. He's been better than I had
The
thought.
Rams almost had 2 Balls&Brews rookies of the years with Colby Turner last year too. He made the short list.
He was on the short list.
Charlie.
Good draft.
Yeah, no, I will go 3-0 on this one just because he's the only one that I can really think of that is like you tried to replace Aaron Donald, right? Which is
But you
an
did with
impossible task.
But you
right?
did. I think you did a great job by doing it with
1,000%.
players.
Who already have connection to each other, who know how
Yeah,
to play
play
off of each
together.
other. Yeah, no, it was as smart
Good
of a
drafting.
move as they could have, and it worked. It would have really sucked had they made this move. It looked good on paper, and then it folds,
Correct.
within the season. But it hasn't. Frisk has also been, good. A good
He's been
number 2.
really good.
Yeah, no,
Really
he's much more
to
of the
that-
double teamer while Verse gets free.
To match with your Colby Turner that you drafted the
pretty
year
nasty.
before, to match with
That
somebody
D-line's
else.
pretty
All
nasty.
you're doing, and we talk about, dude, there's 2 teams I think that draft better than anybody, and I think Charlie's a close third, maybe fourth.
I've had a good
couple.
couple of last years.
I think that
I
the
have.
Eagles and the Rams do the best job drafting in the NFL,
The
and you can
Eagles-
see the way you've built the Rams from nothing when they had 3rd-round draft picks that are killing it. Now they're starting to get the first. Eagles also do a great job drafting. I think they do.
His trade ability, Howie Roseman's ability to move up and down the draft has been bonkers over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I give flowers to him. Like the Rams, they've had a really nice last 2 drafts. It's just a little harder to grade because they traded away all those picks.
Right. So you're getting
bunch in
third.
that Stafford move, a bunch.
You're just getting 3rd-rounders that are shelling out
Right.
and stuff like that. And you see some of these, the Robinson kid at receiver. You see some of these guys starting.
Well,
to kinda
DeMarcus
come around.
Robinson came over from
That's right.
Kansas City.
That's right.
Yep.
I mean, when you have Puka, Puka made Cooper Kupp look like an amateur this year. Coop was nowhere to be found
I
in
know, I
a
have
lot
no
of
fantasy.
games. I know, in a lot of games, he was schmah. He had a couple of really good, at the time.
Moments?
Yes, exactly. Like when they needed him, he was there, 3rd and long kind of thing or whatever, like 3rd down, those kinds of things. He was there. But overall, Nakua was by far 1A. And DeMarcus Robinson, I would say, probably had a better year overall than Cooper Kupp.
A little bit of a resurgence. I mean, he's had a down couple years.
He
so
has.
McVay's really got more out of him.
This year, Offensive Rookie of the Year, I'm saying Jaden Daniels, quarterback, Washington Commanders.
I think I have to agree with you. It's
With
close
with
though.
Brock Bowers finishing a close second.
Bowers is there and Bo Nix is there too. Those are the
Those would be
three.
the 3 I put as well. Sure. Or that's the 3 I put. I would love to say Brock, and I would love to put my wax for Brock, but
You know what? I'm gonna say Brock if you won't say Brock.
dude, you're gonna go with. I'll say Brock Bowers, dude. He broke records. Dude, he's killing it, brother.
I just because he broke records and because of the situation with your team, like it was easier. I feel like for Bo Nix and Jaden Daniels to have success with the rest of the team that they had around them. Where Brock Bowers is kind of your unicorn in what you have.
I would love to go that, but I'm gonna still say Jaden because I think Jaden Daniels is rookie of the year. I love he was elite.
Yeah, it makes sense.
He was elite.
I was gonna go there.
I'm going
but
Jaden.
I'll give Bowers some love.
Thanks, Jeff.
You're welcome.
Best tight in the league soon. Watch.
Best rookie year. Better than Mike Ditka.
How are you, Chuck?
It's Jaden Daniels. It's the
I
pass
figured
the
that's what I
pass
was
catcher
gonna do.
versus the pass thrower debate. It will always go to the QB, right?
Yeah, it's more important of the two positions.
correct.
It is both of those men
it's
have
basi-
overcome insane
It's
situations.
basically like last year. You have the quarterback with CJ and the catcher with Puka. This year you have the quarterback and Jaden with the catcher and Brock.
Right.
Like I like Bo. I think Bo had Bo had more of like the actual like stair climb year.
Agreed.
Where Jaden had more of the mountain year where he was
Valleys
hot
and
and then
peaks.
kind of went But he's been finishing hot. Caleb had a good year, but I don't think you can put him in it. Drake,
Nah.
I think, had a good year. And then I also think Malik Neighbors is arguably up there, is maybe number 3 or 4, depending
him
on
at
where you
4.
put
He
Bo.
deserves an honorable mention.
So
I don't disagree with that.
With Daniels, though, I think it's probably the better move to give it to him overall because of the success of Washington.
Correct.
Nobody had really none of us
That's
picked
the
Washington
argument.
going to the playoffs,
That's
and
the
that's why
argument.
he's going to be the award winner, I feel.
Yeah.
So
So
I love
you-
what
you-
Bowers did.
You
Jaden
took-
Daniels
You took a dysfunctional,
organization.
who just
Dude,
sold last year.
If they lose Cliff King, dude, all the coordinator shit is crazy. You lose Cliff Kingsbury. We know now it's more Kyler than Cliff. With the dysfunction in Arizona.
Well-
now, if you lose Cliff, now you got to bring in another offense core to keep Jaden on this up post, man. Dude, that's what the defense. That's what makes me worry about the head coach as a defense coordinator.
I mean, Cliff, though, he's always been good as a coordinator. It was the head coach that you always have questions about. So, I mean, that's why I think that if he was, I wouldn't put him at the top as far as
Well, he needs the Bears head coach next year. We'll see
coaches
what
for the
happens.
Bears. I would not put him at the first position if I had if I had a choice of, some of the coaches that should be available. He's not my first for the Bears.
Mine either, but the Bears do stupid shit. Charlie, let's start with you on the defensive player of the year.
I think my preseason prediction can actually come true with TJ Watt.
I think we're going 3-0 on
I
this
think
one.
so too.
Unbelievable year. My guy didn't play enough this year for me to give him shout out. Max Crosby was incredibly impactful when he was there.
True.
But got hurt for the last so many
His
games.
ankle's been busted for a little bit.
Yeah, otherwise he would have been right because his numbers were projected. He was
Once
projected
again,
to have
his
that in other
pressures. Yeah,
years, dude.
he's a beast, dude.
You
He's a
get
beast.
Miles Garrett could be on the list, and I think the other name people maybe is Patrick Surtain, cornerback for the
38.6 overall QB rating when targeting that man.
Correct.
That you would have been
Hey.
you would have been better at dusting it
Correct.
every time rather than throwing his direction.
He's easily CB1, easily CB1 in the league right now.
It's hard to argue with those numbers, dude. I mean, my feelings don't matter when those numbers come up. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
Let's
I
go
just-
Witherspoon, but like, I can't.
I hear you, I hear you.
I can't make that argument. Like,
No, it's just, dude, he's doing elite stuff.
no, it's
He's doing
all
elite
about
stuff.
coverage. That is the number that matters the absolute most as a cornerback. I love a cornerback who can tackle. Do not get me wrong.
Sure.
I wanna,
That priority is that coverage.
But-
1,000%.
But prime time
I need
and
you. I
Darrell-
need you to always have a hand in between him and the ball.
Prime
period.
time and Darrell
Take away
Revis
that number one.
are different things. Darrell Revis on Revis Island and prime time, that's like different shit. Taking away like a third of the field is intense.
If you can take away the clear number one option in their passing
Yes.
game, like definitively, like
Without help on over the
Right.
top.
No,
Because then
yeah,
you can put
it's-
help over the top on like if
you change a
Yeah.
team's game plan before
Yeah.
when they know they're coming to you. The start of the week, they're like, dude, we got Darrell Revis. What the fuck
Correct.
are we gonna do in the passing
Correct.
game? Like,
then you can over the top the other guy. Like so, if you had Revis on Chase, you hope he locks down Chase. Then you go over the top on Higgins. You go over the top on the other. Dude, it's insane what you can do with elite corner.
I mean, we just saw Chase just destroy the Pittsburgh Steelers defense too, man. God damn.
Dude, I don't know, man. I think this. I like Mike Tomlin as a coach, but the Steelers seem to do the same kind of thing where they kind of do this and then they go into the playoffs and then they lose.
They haven't made even like a
run.
A regional, not a regional. I'm sorry, divisional. Yeah, in many years they've made the playoffs, but when's the last time they got past the wild card? When's the last time they won a playoff game?
Not in a long time.
I mean, it's
So,
Roethlisberger for sure.
I mean, that sounds great and all to get to the playoffs, but if you're not doing anything in the playoffs,
well, that's why I think there's
kinda
that side
heartbreaking.
of Pittsburgh that are out on him. I don't think he's the biggest problem they have, but
Are we popping this fucker?
let's pop it. I'll kill this right now.
we go pop it.
So we went 3-0 on this vote. The next vote, we were not going 3-0 on. We already know one vote, and we know the other vote.
Oh, we do?
We're talking about offensive MVP here.
Oh,
So,
damn.
We know that Zach poured like shit on this.
That
That's
looks
not
horrible.
great. We know that there's only how many ever numbers in the MVP voting, right? For offensive. You have.
You mean
Lamar-
the MVP overall?
Yeah, MVP overall. It's not just offensive.
I was gonna say we just talked about the offensive play. All right, go.
Sorry,
You got
MVP
it,
overall.
You got it.
MVP.
Okay, all right. Don't hurt yourself.
It's Lamar, Josh Allen, or Joe Burrow. Chuck said at whatever minute mark in this podcast that he is already picking Lamar.
I said that off pod, I think, but yes.
No, I'm pretty sure we were some minute mark in. When you go to edit, you'll see, oh, I did say that. I am obviously voting for Josh Allen. We can go through numbers. We've seen it. Both players are elite, top 4 quarterbacks in the league. Trev,
Yes.
you have final pick of Balls and Brews' 2024 MVP of the NFL season. I will give the floor to you. And then Chuck can try to talk you out of it, or I can try to talk you out of it, however it needs to go.
I'm the sway vote.
You are.
All right. As it sits, I look at the numbers. Lamar has better numbers. He gives you, I think, more options in your play calling. But I actually go Allen because I think he's doing it with less around him. He doesn't have King Henry in the backfield. He's doing so. I feel like he's doing more with less, and that's why I give him my vote as of now. Make your case.
I'm not going to. I don't need, the fact of the matter is he won MVP with supremely lesser stats last year. He's thrown for 15 more touchdowns and 4 less interceptions. That's cleaning up the exact thing that you say a quarterback needs to do.
But his stats last year's MVP voting was kind of smelly.
It's true. It is a place and a time.
And there's been plenty of players that have had better stats the following year that haven't won the award because of somebody else.
So I look at some almost like you always hear about the Heisman, right? When was his Heisman moment? When was the Heisman moment? Josh Allen went through a week where multiple games in a row where he blew out the Chiefs, the Niners, the Lions, and somebody else 4 weeks in a row where they went on a run where they beat. At that time, the Niners were more competitive than what the record was this time, but went through weeks of kind of putting a beating on some of these teams. And with the Ravens fluctuating with the obviously they lost to the fucking Raiders. That's pretty bad. And then with the way that team kind of rolls, I know Lamar has great stats, and I had him on fantasy. He won me fantasy this year. I think Lamar's easily 2. I do think, though, when it happens, somehow today that Joe Burrow somehow gets into the playoffs, I actually think Joe Burrow wins it. But I'm voting Josh Allen every day of the week. I think Josh Allen had more of those MVP moments than Lamar. I know Lamar's stats are there and all that, but I think that Josh had more of the MVP moments of the year.
Well, then it's 2-1.
Cheers.
All right, that is our Balls and Brews
Year-end
award
awards,
winners.
yeah.
So go over them again.
Zach, what are we sipping on?
We are sipping on Stone Tangerine Express Hazy IPA. So the box actually says that it's tangerine with pineapple. I never got pineapple when we had this the other day, Charlie, and I still don't know if I get pineapple. It's not necessarily haze. You get a lot more hops
Than the haze, for
than
sure.
the haze for sure. But you do get the tangerine. I don't think you get the pineapple.
I get a little pineapple
Do
at
you?
the end.
I like the body on this a lot more this time around than I did the first time. I must have poured it better. I get the tangerine. I don't get a lot of pineapple.
Yep.
I get citrus for sure. Still, definitely, like you've just nailed it. It shouldn't be called a hazy. This is
It's more of a. Is it more
It's
of a
an
West
IPA.
Coast?
West Coast
It's an IPA.
Would you
This is
say
an
it was
IPA. We literally, we just
Tangerine
drank.
forward.
Okay, we just drank 16 ounces of super coffee heavy forward beer, and now all I taste is hops. One drink off of it. I don't taste any more coffee.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a hazy doesn't traditionally do that to you, but it's not that I dislike this beer either. The body, I'll give it that. I
don't dislike it. We said it.
6.7.
We said it last week on Wednesday. Same thing though. Like it's not hazy, right? It's more of a West Coast. There's not like that hazy.
Well, you can look at the color. It just looks like an IPA. You can literally see the bubbles. A hazy,
I want it to be like fucking
pulpy.
Yeah,
Well, not
milky.
pulpy. Well, orange juicy.
the orange juicy. Correct.
I like pulp.
So just to review-
raise your hand if you like pulp and orange juice. Ew.
Nah, I'm medium.
Okay, but a medium is better than a none.
To
Sure.
review the
okay.
Balls and Brews awards.
Okay.
Josh Allen MVP. TJ Watt Defensive Player of the Year. Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to Jaden. Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Jared Verse. Offensive Player of the Year goes to Saquon. And Coach of the Year goes to Kevin O'Connell. Now we forgot one. And we didn't vote on it as a team. But I'd like to know your guys' thoughts, and I forgot to bring this up earlier.
Is what?
Comeback Player of the Year.
Oh.
They said that Darnold shouldn't be able to win
ineligible?
it, but they're still allowed to vote for it. So people are still voting for him to win it, but he's ineligible because of a new rule. And I sent
The Geno rule.
It's something about because he wasn't hurt or something. I don't know.
He technically only came back from not being starting.
Correct.
There
He
wasn't an
back from-
ailment, right? No, he didn't have to come back through a struggle, a physical struggle,
Correct.
a mental struggle for sure. But like, as far as he never had to.
It's a Geno rule.
It has to be.
It's a Geno
It
rule.
has to be. As much as I appreciate Geno Smith, and that year was cool that we got into the playoffs.
So do you
and
give it
everything.
to Burrow because he got hurt at the end of the year? Remember, Jake Browning played
There
a lot
is
of
that.
games.
That is true because the Bengals were not able to complete last year because of Burrow's injury.
I don't know
It's
who
not
else.
a bad
I don't know
take.
who else I would put in comeback player of the year. If I
Yeah,
can't vote
'cause-
for Darnold, am I voting?
Because Daniel Jones would have been the obvious candidate had he been anything. An ACL. Greenlaw can't necessarily be that. He didn't play enough. Yeah.
You can't give the Saquon for changing teams.
But he does feel.
Dude,
I bet you he's
gotta
so
fire
happy to be
fucking
off
Joe
of the
Shane
Giants.
should be fucking gone, bro.
I bet you he's so happy to be off of the Giants.
Bye bye. We'll talk about.
Coming up soon.
Coming up soon. Next pod, heavy coaching talk. 'Cause their coach-
The Jerry Rice
and-
pod,
and
number
Jim-
80.
and-
There's literally no other number 80 that comes
Can
to
we
mind,
call Tim
right?
Brown 81 then? And then we get to say.
That's a fair argument. I'd have to think about that one. I love me some TB, but
Next week though, you got the coaching stuff and playoff stuff, but the coaching stuff and GM, because I think that depending on what the Bears want to do, Poles could be out as GM.
okay. You know what we're gonna do?
It's Fandom.
Yeah, that's exactly same face. All right, favorite TV shows.
So I sent this the other week to everybody in the group because you know what I rewatched again?
Tell me.
White Collar. If you guys have not seen White Collar,
No,
dude,
but I've heard good
it
things
is
about it.
Really good. It keeps you on the edge of your seat. It's not quite one of these like blow 'em up, shoot 'em ups, but there's action and it's so there's stealing. It's like and I love stealing movies. We can get movies all day. I won't drop any of that stuff. White Collar is definitely up on my list. I've watched it I've watched fully twice. First so many seasons.
Hold on. Can we set parameters in the sense of does it matter if are we only doing live or are we doing animated as well?
No, we used to save animated for something else.
Live.
Because then you
Live
get
shows.
Yeah, live shows.
Okay.
Because then we get
That
like all the
changes
DC
my thought
stuff.
process.
Yes. I think say live. Well, maybe
Okay.
next pod we can hit some
Okay.
of
Some animated. Because
ano-
my favorite show of all time is animated.
another one, Justified.
Yes.
Love it. Was way more in the Justified than the Sons of Anarchy.
Sons of Anarchy.
It was
at its
good.
Peak was
It was
phenomenal.
good. It was good. You
It
know what's
shit the bed really quick, but goddamn, there
you
were
know
some
what
really good episodes.
crazy is looking back even at the white collar stuff. White collar, it was when you look at some of these programming stations, like USA had white collar, right? Dude, at the same time they had Burn Notice going on.
Right.
Two great shows. Justified was on at the same time on FX as Sons of Anarchy. Like sometimes you get these like TV stations that just absolutely kill it at 2 times at once. But Justified's another one. Arrow, loved the whole Arrow verse. Didn't jump into a lot of the other shows. Jack Reacher, obviously, and Jack Ryan, the new one, John Krasinski, both. Reacher's epic. Jack Ryan on Amazon, really good too. I think I've named off 4. I could go all day, so why don't one of you guys jump in?
A couple of my favorites. Stranger Things. I think that's a really good show. It's a show I can rewatch on Netflix.
I can't get into that kind of
Can't
stuff.
get into that kind of
I don't do the horror or like the.
Well, it's only like a tickle of horror.
Well,
Like that's the
I know,
whole
but
thing. It's like but you like science fiction, so
science
I mean,
fiction to like an
right? You don't like
extents.
body horror or anything like
Yeah.
that. I get that. It's a weird subgenre of all of that. I'm
Yeah.
not like David Cronenberg and like The Fly and all that shit. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, then not even on like the Stranger Things. Like I'm not like that way of science fiction. I want like, other science. I don't know, but yeah, Stranger Things. But I've heard great things about it. Hell, if
Sure.
you watch it.
sure.
I mean, probably more because of my wife and all the murder shows she likes. Mindhunter is another good one.
Dude,
Dude,
that
we-
one is actually a really
we
good
dove
fucking
into
show.
the
It's a great
oth-
procedural, is
we-
what those are called.
We watched that
Law
one,
and Order. I mean, come on.
Criminal Minds for a
Criminal
while.
Minds
There you
is
go.
good.
Yep.
That one was
it's the whole.
intense.
Yes.
Dude, there's some shit in there where you're like,
Criminal Minds.
You
is-
go into the bedroom. You're like, okay, the gun's locked and loaded. All right, we're going to bed. All right, nobody's walking. Dude, some of those Criminal Minds shows, dude, people are fucking weird. And with the shit that just happened in Vegas with the Cybertruck and the other thing going down
In New Orleans.
in New
Sugar
Orleans,
Bowl, yeah.
dude, people are just weird. So you start watching those shows, you go to bed, dude. It's fucking like.
All right, you guys. I gotta let a cat out of the bag here.
Let it
I don't know
out.
If any of y'all.
He's gonna
have
say
ever
like
done this.
Gilmore Girls.
Close.
Nah.
It's Glee. I
Glee.
fucking love that show.
That's okay,
Dude.
That's
From
okay.
from
that's
top
good,
to
good.
bottom,
It's
the
singing.
storytelling was amazing. Like it was. It given the Glee curse now is crazy, but watching
What's
it
that
when
mean?
a couple of people have died, like
Oh.
Ryan Murphy and the creator, like the creators went on to do American Horror Story and like
Yeah, not big on that show.
right. I wasn't gonna bring that up, but like Glee, I fucking loved that
Good.
show. I rewatched that show like all the way from start to finish like 3 times. Like,
Honestly, I do like a lot of music and singing and some of that. I mean, I
when
don't
it's
hate
done
that
right,
stuff.
yes.
When
When
it's
it's
done
done
right.
right, yes.
There was a Flash and Supergirl episode in the Arrowverse where they both sing. Good episode.
No, okay. Up until the last season, one of the most captivating shows of all time was Games of Thrones.
That's the only time
so
they
they
season.
ended
When I bought into that, dude, there
Great
oh my
beginning,
God, there
great
were
middle,
some great seasons
not
of that
great
show.
end.
Yes, and that unfortunately will always, taint that.
But
Now,
I'm with you there. Game of
Have
Thrones.
you guys
is-
watched any? I've watched first season Ring of Power. Have you guys done second season Ring of Power?
no,
No,
the Lord
it was
of the
too
Rings.
tough. I felt like
I felt the first season was hard. I'm gonna
It
try to
was.
rewatch and dive back. And sorry, Charlie, you were Game of Thrones, so I was thinking Lord of the Rings.
No,
Go
you're
for it,
good.
brother.
You're good. Can I also? Okay, so shout out to if we're gonna allow live like sketch spell show.
classic.
It only did 2 seasons, and then the lost episodes were like
Classic.
3 episodes that they clipped. It's one of my. Luckily it streams
I own
on
them.
everything. Yeah, some of the
think I own
funniest skits you're ever gonna see, like so good. Have to give a shout out to them for a live action.
I got a couple others to throw out.
I got. Some.
Yes, let's go. Some people say Seinfeld. How do you feel about the Seinfeld?
I'm not a big Seinfeld guy.
It's schmeh.
There's some classic.
But I want to know.
stuff
I want to
there.
know. I want to know some deep down, Trev. Let's
Uh,
go.
the
thought some
the
shit.
Last of Us,
I know.
Mandalorian.
Mandalorian, great one. Ahsoka, they better fucking bring it back.
No,
I'm
we're
gonna start
talking
slicing
about
and dicing.
favorites of all time. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I'm talking about the
Fresh
shit that is like deep stuff. That's
Entourage.
Like,
OG greatest of all time. That was
that
my
put
one.
HBO on the map.
That
dude,
was my
when it
one
came
for
to
years.
Yeah, a lot of people love
Dude,
that show. Eastbound and Down.
I'm not as big.
No.
Leverage.
Leverage.
Where they steal stuff. They're like they
I
screw
think
insurance
that-
companies.
Yeah, okay.
It's not bad. I just throwing them out, Charlie.
Throwing
Dude,
them out.
I watch a lot of stuff.
When it comes, yeah.
Jack Reacher though, check it out. February.
Honestly, dude, classic is Law and Order. If you put
never-
on, I'm serious. If you
Friends.
put on an OG Law and Order, I'll watch it.
I've never been along. I'll give me a Friends or a Law and Order, not a Seinfeld.
Friends, I'll pass on. I'm very non-committal on sitcoms. I only I fuck with the Fresh Prince for sure. Like, even though Will Smith and his new,
gone a
era,
little crazy.
a little cray, but I love that show.
Who else? I think.
I know. It's because we're separating live versus. I got so many animated shows.
Same.
that I
Yeah,
could
see,
think
I'm
of.
less on the animated.
No,
I
dude,
only have
We're both very high.
Yeah,
on the
see, I'm
animated.
more-
for sure. We
on
have
the-
been for many years.
I'm more on the other stuff, but yeah.
No, which is good because it pulls other ideas out of me. That
Smallville.
dude.
Smallville, dude,
I
is-
watched an insane amount of Smallville with
Dude,
Roth.
that's-
I watched like almost 2 full seasons with that dude.
Smallville. Heroes, dude.
Fuck,
dude.
dude.
Great call, dude. I started watching that the other day on Hulu, and I was
There
like,
you go.
fuck, this show's
Okay,
good.
okay, all right. Sitcom. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh,
Absolutely god tier. Oh my god,
I've
it
never
is,
jumped
dude.
into that
You
one.
are missing out, brother.
It's-
You're not really deadpan though.
No.
You're not really that, or like
It's a lot of that humor.
It's very vulgar.
I want more like.
What about some Henry Cavill? Give me some Witcher.
I watched a little bit of that. I haven't dove into that.
I love me some Henry Cavill. I don't fucking
Oh,
care.
okay. So I know it's a docu-series, but the 30 for 30. If we're gonna throw, I don't know if
At
we can get
certain
into
ones,
that or
certain
not.
ones.
But
I think
love that.
I think that's a
overall.
different. I think because then that's more a docu.
Alright. It is.
So that's like docs.
I'm just throwing
dude,
it.
Designated Survivor.
Where are you on Breaking Bad? Is
I've only
anybody
watched
a big
one or
Breaking
two
Bad
episodes.
guy?
I've
Me
only watched 2
neither.
episodes.
I've never really fucked with it. People give it, that
a
like
lot
god
of-
tier, but
but
I don't.
Check out Designated Survivor on Netflix.
Kiefer
It's-
Sutherland,
it's about-
24. You want to talk about a show with that dude that was fucking lit? Was
well,
24.
Designated Survivor is about like he's like when they have the Congress meetings and everything.
Yeah.
He's off to the side and then the bomb hits and blows up all of Congress.
And all
he
them
becomes
shits
president.
dead. All of a
Dude,
sudden,
he
there's
becomes
Kiefer
president.
Sutherland.
Dude, it's crazy.
Ready to run the country.
It's crazy. Check us out on Instagram and X. Tell us what your favorite shows are, dude. Our fandom. We think we might start changing
We're
our
mixing
fandom
it
to
up.
this
We're mixing
weird
up. It's been good.
Xbox movie. Next week
it
might
provides
be.
more ramblings on the back end, doesn't
Next
it?
week might be either shows that are
Animated
or
show.
movies.
No, you got to think about it because Trevor and I are going to go off when we start talking
Oh,
about
I got.
animated.
Oh, dude,
shows.
I
And we'll
got 'em.
also
Dude,
we'll
number
also
one-
separate anime from animated as well because
Well,
if
no,
you're-
I think we got to go both because my stuff is going to be a mix. Because do I get
well,
to bring
mine
in movies?
can be as well.
Do I get to bring in animated movies?
Well, no,
like
we're
DC?
shows, TV
Okay,
shows.
but I got shows: Young Justice, Gundam. Dude, Gundam is one of the most. Okay, never mind. We'll see
get
you
there
guys.
when we get
We'll see you
there.
guys on X and
Jeez.
Instagram, YouTube.
Spotify, Buzzsprout, and then we'll be back for Jerry Rice Pod 80.
Yeah,
A
boy.
lot of playoff stuff.
Chug, 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 chug. Who's got what?
Oh,
You guys
damn.
gonna drink it?
I don't know if I can
I'll
finish it.
try.